Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be doing a little modification to my Honda mower. This is a GCV160 Honda engine. It is a just a Home Depot special 21-inch residential mower. But if you've been following my channel lately, you've noticed I'm using this a lot more for my little side mowing business, so it's getting used a little bit more. One thing I noticed during this extra use is this area right here near the governor shaft is getting really oily and accumulating a lot of dirt and grass clippings and things like that, and you can see it all around here. I've cleaned it up a few times, but all around here there's that black kind of residue. That's just dirt, grass clippings, oil. I have no idea where it's coming from, and I changed the oil recently, and I check it frequently, but I changed it and it was kind of low, so that made me think, okay, I got an oil leak. Now I checked underneath to check the main seal, solid, no big deal. I don't know where else oil would be leaking on this. I did some YouTube searching and I found a video is, I think, the culprit, and it involves this governor shaft. And Honda, in their infinite wisdom, decided not to put a gasket on this governor shaft from the factory. So this little shaft here goes into the engine and it governs the speed of the motor. Basically, if you tilt this engine on a hill or lifting it in and out of a car or a truck or whatever, the oil that is in the pan down here can get out of that governor shaft and it'll just eventually leak and get all over here, and it coats this whole area in that oil mist. So they do, however, sell a little gasket. I mean, it cost me $3, I think. I'll post a link in the description box. It was real cheap, and it's just a little rubber gasket that goes right in there, and I'll show you how we do it. So in order to remove that governor shaft, we need to remove some things off of this little pylon here. Right here on the bottom there's a little spring. I'm just going to gently remove it without damaging it, hopefully. Just like that. And then there is a 10mm bolt on this side that I'm going to loosen very easily. I'm just going to open it up a little bit more. And that should allow you to pull this arm off of the engine. Just like that. And then just stuff this thing, if you can, off to the side so it stays out of your way. So now you can really see in there the amount of debris that's really just around this little shaft. I'm going to go ahead and clean it off now because we're going to be working in that area. Might as well. Good enough for now. Next, now that you have that arm off of the governor shaft, there's a little cotter pin here that you need to remove. So just using a pair of needle nose pliers, get in there and pull it off. It should pop off relatively easily. That's what that cotter pin looks like. Just be careful now, because this governor shaft will go into the engine. I don't know if it'll fall into the engine, but I don't want to chance it. Also, while you're in here, take a little flathead screwdriver, and I've already done this because I took this off once before just to verify there wasn't a gasket, and I just cleaned out around this shaft and got all the extra gunk out of there, because that's where that gasket is going to sit, is right in there. So just go in there, clean it out, and I got quite a bit of gunk out. This is actually my paper towel from when I removed all that gunk. So all this stuff here you see is what I took out of that little tiny hole in there. So now we can install this gasket. So now I'm going to take a little bit of grease that I had in my grease gun, and I'm going to grease up this gasket just slightly, just so it slides over that shaft a little bit easier and goes in a little better. So I'm actually going to put a little bit on the shaft itself, and careful not to knock it in. So now I got my gasket greased up. The governor shaft is greased up a little bit. I'm going to slide this gasket over the top of the governor shaft, being careful not to push the governor shaft into the engine. So you got to kind of hold it and push it at the same time. It's kind of awkward now because I've put grease on my fingers. But just slowly work that gasket back in there, and it should seat right in that little hole. It's going to be snug, so I'm going to take my little flathead screwdriver now and seat it into that little area. So I played with it a little bit more. You need to make sure you get that gasket pushed back far enough so that it's past the little keyway for that cotter pin, which I'm going to install now. So there's that keyway for that cotter pin that needs to go in to hold the shaft in place. There it is. So now that gasket is behind this cotter pin, and the cotter pin is in the keyway in the shaft, so it's good to go. Now we can reinstall this arm for the governor and just slip it back onto the shaft. Kind of difficult with one hand, but just get it lined up and get it back on there. And you need to have this being straight up and down like it was before. So mine was basically straight up and down, and then you need to tighten down that little 10 millimeter. Just get it snug, doesn't need to be crazy. So just make sure you get it nice and snug. Last thing we need to do is rehook up this little spring on the first hole, or whatever hole was yours installed in, just so it's back in the same spot. I'm gonna use my pliers for that. Just like that. And that's it. Real easy, simple. Hopefully it works. We'll see how it works over the next couple of mows. If I start seeing oil accumulate over here with the dust and the mowings and the clippings and all that, I'll know it didn't work. But I'm pretty confident that it is going to work. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Love it if you subscribed. Stay tuned for more videos. Later.